Hi, I'm Rachel. I'm here with my cat Leia, and I want to do a quick Friday Reads video. Not sure how long she's going to be here, and I gotta get on to some other things too. And there she goes. Well, it's the end of the month, and so I have my reading deadlines of sorts, various reading deadlines that I want to get to so that I can get some books into my newsletter at the end of the month. First, I gotta finish them. And the first book on that list is Nine Folds Makes a Paper Swan by Ruth Gilligan. I've talked about this a little bit before, and how I'm reading it for Eric and Anna's book club, and they're going to be talking about it at the end of the month, so I definitely want to get a video up on this by this weekend. I have two parts left of this story that weaves between three narratives in three different time periods in Ireland dealing with the Jewish community there. And we're finally starting to see how the three time periods connect to one another in certain ways. It's a very thought-provoking novel, and I definitely want to think up some thought-provoking things to say about it, so I'll leave that for the weekend. Next, here's the Flannery O'Connor short story collection that I've been touting on this channel for all month. And I definitely want to finish it by the end of the month, so I think I'll also be putting significant time this weekend into reading the final stories in it. I've most recently read the short story Good Country People, and O'Connor's playing with the idea here, it seems, of people who dismiss this simplistic stereotype of the good country people, and how there could be something more going on there, and how you shouldn't just dismiss them out of hand, and how just because some characters in better off situations financially or education-wise might have those advantages over the good country people, these people can still hoodwink them or have other means of cunning. It's interesting what she does with characters in these stories, how she sets up their beliefs and their standpoints, and then makes them question each other and their relationships, and then also, I guess, the audience and how we see them. And nobody ever seems to come off all that great in these stories. My next reading project for this week is my buddy read with Curtis from Curtis Books and Films. We are going to start The Return of the Native by Thomas Hardy, and in the next week we will be reading the first book, I believe, which is about 100 pages. So definitely looking forward to getting into this. I've been interested in trying some Hardy, although I had my eye on some of his more well-known titles, but why not jump into the deep end and see how I like this? And of course, I'm also looking forward to his videos and into reading this book together. I'm certain it will enhance that experience. I'm very looking forward to this. I've always loved the Book Buddy videos on BookTube, and the extra layers that they add to interpretations of the books. And finally, I thought I might try to round off July with this book. This is The Three Weissmans of Westport by Kathleen Schine, and it is a Jewish Sense and Sensibility retelling. It's not even the first Jewish Sense and Sensibility retelling that I've read or am about to read. The first one that I've read was done by one of my favorite authors, Allegra Goodman. Her book, The Cookbook Collector, she called a Sense and Sensibility for the Digital Age. And I particularly thought I might pick up this book from my shelf where I had it for a while now, because this month was the 200th anniversary of Jane Austen's death. So what better excuse to finally get to this book? I'll read from the flap to give you an idea of the parallels. The three Weissmans of Westport are, specifically, Betty Weissman, who has just been dumped by her husband of 48 years, and her two grown daughters, Miranda and Annie, who quite unexpectedly find themselves the middle-aged products of a broken home. When Betty is exiled from her elegant New York apartment by her husband's mistress, the three women, whose lives are in varying states of disrepair and confusion, regroup on the small, run-down Westport, Connecticut beach cottage owned by Betty's wealthy and generous cousin Lou. The novel is a playful, devoted, loose-jointed homage to Jane Austen's beloved Sense and Sensibility, And in Shine's comic yet poignant retelling, the impulsive sister is Miranda, a literary agent who finds herself entangled in a series of scandals, and the more pragmatic sister is Annie, a library director who feels compelled to move in and keep an eye on her capricious mother and sister. As they mingle with the suburban aristocracy and wrestle with economic hard times, love starts to blossom for both sisters, and they find themselves struggling with the dueling demands of reason and romance. I read another one of Shine's books with my book club a few months ago. I believe it was her latest book. They May Not Mean To, But They Do, which is another intergenerational story about middle-aged children and their aging parents. But not quite so much a retelling of anything so far as I remember. But it was very fun, it was very cute, and I enjoyed the relationships and getting to see things from the perspective of the mother in particular. I shifted my camera for the very end of this video because I got my companion back. She decided after wandering around in the other room to take some refuge again on the bed. Which is where I will be soon as well. But before I sign off, I thought I'd give you a little peek into where I hope to begin August. Speaking of Allegra Goodman, the other author who wrote A Jewish Sense and Sensibility, I have her latest book here, The Chalk Artist. Steve Donahue actually kindly sent me this advanced copy several months ago, and it has been out for a little while. And I've been nervous because Allegra Goodman is one of my favorite authors, and the reviews for this have been relatively middling from people who usually like her stuff. And so I'm kind of coming into this with a lot of preconceived notions about how it might not be her best, and now I think I definitely have to read it ASAP because I wanted to anyway, and I want to make sure that I can get my own opinions sorted out and hopefully not rely too much on other people's. I really love reviews. I love the idea of readers gaining insight into things they might like or might not like. After all, there is so much to read out there, but since she's an author I know and love and am interested in her overall collection, it is time to dive in and to get my own opinions and assessments sorted out for myself. That about covers it for me. I'd love to hear what other people are reading. Booktubeathon is going on, and although it doesn't necessarily fit my reading schedule, so insofar as I can make it, I love watching all of the videos, and hope everyone's doing great with their challenges. And also the Man Booker long list just came out, so I know there's a lot of excitement about that, and people getting their ducks in a row to read those books, and I'd love to hear more thoughts about what people think about those. I'll definitely be looking and searching on YouTube for the first reactions and reviews to those books. Lots of great reading opportunities for this midpoint of summer, so happy reading. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.